Some stories are so wild you couldn't make them up. They're the kind of tales that seem ripped from the pages of a gritty novel or a blockbuster movie, but every word is true. This is one of those stories. A kid from Brownsville, Brooklyn, where survival was the only prize. In a neighborhood marked by poverty, violence, and struggle, every day was a fight just to make it home. Shy, bullied, with a lisp, Mike Tyson seemed destined for obscurity. He was the quiet kid, the one who kept his head down, often overlooked and underestimated by everyone around him. But inside, a fire was brewing, a raw, untamed power that would one day make him the most feared man on the planet. Boxing became his escape, his sanctuary, and his weapon. This isn't just a boxing story, it's about a meteoric rise from the bottom to the top, a journey fueled by pain, hunger, and an unbreakable will to win. Tyson's name conjures images, ferocious knockouts, black trunks, the towel over his head. He became a living symbol of intimidation, a gladiator stepping into the arena. He wasn't just a boxer, he was a phenomenon, a force of nature. Every time he entered the ring, the world watched, holding its breath. His rise was blindingly fast. He tore through the heavyweight division with a brutality unseen in generations. Opponents fell in seconds and legends were made in minutes. Tyson became a global icon, a symbol of intimidation and power. His face was everywhere, on TV and newspapers, on posters, captivating fans and terrifying rivals. But what goes up must come down. The higher the climb, the harder the fall, and Tyson's journey was no exception. Tyson's journey was more extreme, more volatile than most. Fame brought fortune, but it also brought chaos, temptation, and relentless scrutiny. He didn't just climb the ladder, he smashed it. Tyson broke records, shattered expectations, and redefined what it meant to be a champion. He earned hundreds of millions, lived in excess, and had the world at his feet. The spotlight was blinding and the temptations were endless. But the same demons that fueled his aggression in the ring haunted him outside it. The battles outside the ropes were often more dangerous than any opponent he faced in the ring. His story is tangled with turmoil, tragedy, and controversy, a cautionary tale about fame's heights and lows. The world watched as he soared and as he stumbled. We'll look at the boy saved by boxing, the mentor who believed in him, and the discipline that gave him hope. The champion who conquered the world, who stood at the pinnacle of his sport and inspired millions with his ferocity and drive. And the man who lost it all, stripped of titles, fortune, and freedom, forced to confront his own mistakes and demons. But the most interesting part isn't the rise or the fall, it's the long, hard climb back up. Redemption is never easy, and Tyson's journey back was filled with pain, humility, and growth. This is a story about second chances, redemption, and finding strength after the final bell. It's about learning from the past, embracing change, and fighting for a better future. Let's dive in. Before he became the legendary Iron Mike, he was just a young boy growing up in the tough streets of Brownsville, Brooklyn, a place notorious for its poverty and rampant crime. The environment was harsh, and survival was a daily challenge. Tyson's father was absent, leaving his mother to struggle alone. He faced bullying for his lisp and his unusual love for pigeons, which were his only solace in a world that seemed unforgiving. One fateful day, a bully killed one of his beloved pigeons. This act of cruelty ignited a fire within Tyson. He fought back fiercely and discovered a raw, untapped power within himself. Fighting became his armor, a way to earn respect and a place among the local gangs. It was a means of survival, a way to navigate the mean streets. By his early teens, Tyson had been arrested numerous times, his future appearing bleak and uncertain. The path he was on seemed destined for tragedy, but in the confines of a juvenile detention center, a counselor named Bobby Stewart saw something remarkable in Tyson, a potential that others had overlooked. Stewart offered to teach him boxing, but there was a condition. Tyson had to stay out of trouble. It was a lifeline, a chance to channel his aggression into something positive. For the first time, Tyson found discipline and purpose. Boxing gave him structure, a new way to express himself, and a path to redemption. Boxing became his salvation, a language he could finally speak fluently. In the ring, he found a place where his aggression was not only accepted but celebrated. In the ring, his aggression was transformed into an asset, a tool that set him apart from others. Stewart quickly realized that Tyson's talent was extraordinary, something that needed nurturing and guidance. He understood that Tyson needed more than just a coach. He needed a true mentor to guide him. That's when he introduced Tyson to the legendary trainer, Cus D'Amato, a man who would become a pivotal figure in his life. This meeting would change Tyson's life forever, setting him on a path that would lead to greatness. The streets had shaped him, but it was boxing that would ultimately define him, transforming his life in ways he could never have imagined. The journey was just beginning, a journey that would see him rise from the mean streets of Brooklyn to the pinnacle of the boxing world. When Tyson met Cus D'Amato, it was destiny. Cus, a boxing genius, saw not just a puncher, but a future champion. He took Tyson in, becoming his legal guardian and father figure. The Catskill Gym became Tyson's sanctuary. Cus understood Tyson's fear and anger, breaking him down and building him up. He taught Tyson the peekaboo style, perfect for his power. More than technique, Cus instilled belief and discipline. He taught Tyson to control fear, to use it as fuel. Cus's mentorship was the foundation of Tyson's early success. Tragically, Cus died in 1985, just before Tyson's title shot. The loss devastated Tyson. His anchor was gone. But Cus's lessons endured, driving Tyson to fulfill his destiny. Without his mentor, Tyson faced fame and fortune alone. The next chapter would test everything Cus had built. After Cus's death, Tyson unleashed a storm on the heavyweight division. He fought with purpose, dedicating every win to his mentor. Tyson's pro debut in 1985 began a dominant run. 27 wins, 25 by knockout. In 1986, at just 20, he destroyed Trevor Berbick to become the youngest heavyweight champion ever. But he wasn't done. He unified the division, collecting all the belts within a year. Tyson became the first undisputed heavyweight champ in nearly a decade. His fights were global events, his knockouts legendary. He defended his title against the best: Holmes, Biggs, Spinks. The Spinks fight lasted just 91 seconds. Tyson's power was unmatched. He seemed invincible, a machine forged by Cus, but the foundations were cracking under the weight of fame. The discipline that made him great began to erode. Tyson was on top of the world, but trouble was brewing. The world watched, waiting for what would come next. The fall was coming. Fame brought chaos, money, attention, and endless distractions. Without Cus, Tyson was surrounded by opportunists. His marriage to Robin Givens became tabloid drama, ending in a bitter divorce. He split with his longtime manager and fell under Don King's influence. The discipline was gone, training suffered. Tyson's spending was legendary: mansions, cars, even tigers. The invincible champion was masking deep turmoil. The storm was about to break. The first crack in Mike Tyson's seemingly unbreakable armor came in 1990. Tyson lost to Buster Douglas in a shocking upset that sent shockwaves through the boxing world and beyond. No one expected the undefeated champion to fall, especially not in such dramatic fashion, on a global stage in Tokyo. The invincible champion was counted out for the first time, and the world was left stunned, struggling to process the fall of a legend. Headlines screamed disbelief, and fans everywhere questioned how the unbeatable could be beaten. That loss triggered a downward spiral, both in Tyson's career and personal life. The aura of invincibility was shattered, and cracks began to show in his once unshakable confidence. In 1992, Tyson's troubles deepened when he was convicted of rape and sentenced to 6 years in prison, a stunning fall from grace for the former heavyweight king. He served 3 years behind bars, spending his days reflecting on his mistakes and searching for meaning. During this time, Tyson converted to Islam, seeking solace and a new sense of identity. Upon his release, Tyson staged a dramatic comeback, reclaiming both the WBC and WBA heavyweight titles. For a moment it seemed the old Tyson was back, ready to dominate once again. But something had changed. He wasn't the same fighter. His edge was dulled, his focus shaken by years of turmoil and loss. The fire that once made him unstoppable now flickered uncertainly. In 1996, Evander Holyfield defeated Tyson, exposing his vulnerabilities. The highly anticipated 1997 rematch would soon become one of the most infamous moments in sports history. Frustrated and desperate, Tyson bit off a piece of Holyfield's ear, an act of raw emotion and chaos that shocked the world and forever changed his legacy. He was immediately disqualified, fined millions, and his boxing license was revoked, leaving his career in tatters and his reputation in ruins. Tyson's fall from grace was now complete. Once adored, he became a symbol of wasted potential and public scandal. He'd gone from world champion to pariah, shunned by the sport and the public that once idolized him. The man who had it all, fame, fortune, and fearsome power, had lost everything. His belts, his wealth, and his sense of self all seemed to slip away. The journey back would be his toughest fight yet. Redemption seemed impossible, and the world doubted he could ever return. But Tyson's story wasn't over. Despite everything, he refused to give up, determined to find a new purpose and rebuild his life. He would have to find a new way forward, searching for redemption not just in the ring, but within himself. The world watched and waited, wondering if the fallen champion could rise again and if true redemption was possible for Mike Tyson. After chaos and ruin, Tyson began to rebuild. The fight was now with his own demons. He surprised everyone by moving into entertainment. His cameo in The Hangover showed a new, self-aware Tyson. He launched a one-man Broadway show telling his story with brutal honesty. Tyson owned his mistakes, reframing his narrative. He started a successful podcast and entered the cannabis business. Most importantly, he found peace in family life. His wife and children became his anchor. Tyson embraced self-improvement and introspection. The man once defined by rage was learning peace. His second act was underway. Tyson's story is about resilience, getting up every time life knocks you down. He's faced poverty, loss, defeat, prison, and shame. But he kept getting back up. Redemption is possible, but it's hard work. Tyson owned his past and sought to change. Mentorship mattered. Cus's guidance made all the difference. Without it, Tyson was lost. His journey shows the power of change. People can evolve, learn, and grow. No matter how far you fall, there's always a path back. Tyson's life is proof. What is Mike Tyson's legacy? For some, he's the most ferocious knockout artist ever, a benchmark for power. For others, he's a tragic figure, a cautionary tale of fame and downfall. His story is both inspiration and warning. But there's a third legacy, the survivor, the comeback, the philosopher of second chances. Tyson has transformed himself, connecting with new generations through honesty and vulnerability. His story is our story: struggle, triumph, failure, and the search for peace. He's both hero and villain, always fighting to get back up. From Brownsville to global stardom, through prison and back, his saga is unforgettable. And his story is still being written.